Discover the incredible journey. How my sister's graduation led to my life-changing surgery. In the small town of Maplewood, the sweet aroma of freshly baked apple pie danced through the air. Summer fairs were just around the corner, and excitement buzzed like fireflies at dusk. Yet, amidst the laughter and murmurs, 28-year-old Sarah felt the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. The diner where she worked, Jim's Diner, smelled of fries and coffee brews, the same place where her father had found stability before the factory closed its doors, taking their security with it. Sarah had sacrificed her own dreams to support her bright-eyed sister Emma, clinging to her hopes for a shimmering future, shining like the cap and gown she'd wear at graduation. As graduation day approached, Emma's laughter echoed in their home, a stark contrast to the anxieties that had folded themselves around Sarah like a heavy blanket. The reality of mounting bills stacked against their hastily pieced-together life had become difficult to ignore. Just when Sarah thought she could take a breath, news struck her like lightning. She needed surgery for a long-ignored health issue that could turn fatal if left untreated. With no savings to speak of and more medical bills than she could count, Sarah's worries grew like weeds in her chest. Emma should have been focused on her graduation, dreaming of college and adventure, but instead she was looking after their mother, desperately trying to keep their household afloat. The sharp bite of anxiety twisted inside Sarah, knowing that her health was now another burden for Emma to bear. Just days before the ceremony, an extraordinary thing happened. The townsfolk of Maplewood, known for their big hearts, rallied around Sarah. Bake sales, car washes, and community gatherings sprung up, filling the small town square with love, laughter, and goodwill. Yet even in this sea of support, Sarah felt guilt creep in like an unwelcome guest. She feared she was stealing Emma's moment and felt a loyal sister torn between her health and the bright future that stretched out before Emma. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the fundraiser unfolded, an unexpected tension ignited within their family. An explosive argument erupted between Sarah and their mother about how the raised funds should be allocated. Should it go towards Sarah's surgery or bolster Emma's college dreams? The impending graduation felt like an explosion, revealing deep fissures in their family ties, turning what should be a day of celebration into a battleground of conflicting loyalties. As the final countdown to graduation commenced, Sarah and Emma found themselves locked in a dance of love and sacrifice. Just when they thought they might find clarity, something unexpected happened, twisting their expectations, pushing them to question not just their choices, but their bond. Standing in their backyard under a stormy sky with emotions swirling around them, they faced the most pressing question of all. Could the power of familial love mend the cracks that life had torn into their hearts? The day of graduation arrived like a sunrise bursting over a stormy horizon, filled with the promise of hope and the looming shadow of uncertainty. The sky above Maplewood was a mix of grays and blues, echoing the whirlwind of emotions felt by all. At the school's auditorium, families and friends gathered, buzzing with excitement, their voices floating into the air like confetti. Sarah stood among them, her heart pounding in rhythm to the chattering crowd, each thud heavy with apprehension. Emma. The thought of her sister, dressed in that cap and gown, about to walk across the stage made Sarah's heart swell with pride. Yet, anchored by worry, her eyes darted to the front row, where their mother sat with an awkward smile plastered on her face. How could they celebrate when so much lay unspoken between them? Arguments still clung to the air, thick with unresolved tensions. As the principal called names, Sarah held her breath, willing the world to fall silent. Emma Carter. The crowd erupted in cheers, but all Sarah could hear was the roar of her beating heart. She glimpsed Emma's face, radiant, glowing eyes sparkling like the stars. Stepping toward that podium, it was the moment they had been waiting for. Thousands of dreams, hopes, and sacrifices wrapped into one triumphant step. Yet, as Emma took hold of her diploma, Sarah felt a surge of conflicting emotions. This moment was everything they had worked for, everything she had sacrificed. Shouldn't she be celebrating too? Instead, Guilt clawed at her from the inside, stinging and persistent. Was it fair to Emma? Mama! Look at me! Emma's voice rang out, playful and filled with joy, pulling Sarah from her musings. There was something undeniably magical in her sister's triumph, that flash of confidence, that spark of potential. But just as quickly it all felt fleeting. Sarah imagined what it would be like for Emma to head off to college, stepping closer to a life free of burdens. What if her own surgery stood in the way of that dream? Suddenly the atmosphere shifted. The ceremony turned into a whirlwind of hugs, praises, and chaos. Friends crowded around Emma, celebrating her achievement, laughing and shouting. Sarah hung back, feeling like an outsider in a joyous whirlwind. Each laugh wound tighter around her heart, each cheer turned into a phantasm of what she was about to ask of Emma. After the ceremony, at the reception in the park under fluttering string lights, Sarah found a quiet corner. She needed to talk to Emma, to tell her everything. It had to be now, before the glow of the day dimmed. As she approached her sister, an ache settled in her throat. "Hey Em," Sarah began, nerves shaking her voice. Emma turned, eyes bright, overflowing with joy. "What's up, Sarah?" she asked, tilting her head. Sarah swallowed hard. This was her moment. "Can we talk about the surgery?" Emma's smile faltered slightly, a shadow passing over her features. The air thickened, charged with uncertainty. "Is it about the fundraiser?" "I thought we were set," Emma replied, frowning. More people gathered around them, oblivious to the weight of their conversation. "But what if it's not enough? I don't want to be the reason you miss out on your future," Sarah blurted out, her heart racing. Emma's expression shifted, concern flooding her eyes, a reflection of the powerful bond formed by love and shared burdens. You're my sister, Sarah. We're in this together." But deep down a question loomed. Would they ever truly be free of the weight they bore? As the laughter echoed around them, Sarah recognized that this moment was merely the beginning. And in that chaotic brightness, a looming decision awaited, one that stood to transform both their lives irrevocably. Just then a silence fell over the crowd. An unexpected familiar face pushed through the throng, someone Sarah hadn't seen in years. A ghost from her past that could change everything they thought they knew. Would this be what shifts the tides? The crowd parted like waves, and there she was, Claire. The familiarity of that name sent a rush of emotions through Sarah, effortlessly recalling memories of faded laughter and shared secrets. Claire, once Sarah's best friend, had left Maplewood without a word years ago, leaving only unanswered questions and a heavy silence behind. "Sarah." Claire's voice floated through the air, almost tentative. It was as if she wasn't quite sure this was the moment to return. "Claire." "Wow, it's been so long," Sarah managed, her heart racing. The surprise of seeing her sent a buzz through her veins, but the intensity of their past loomed larger than the joy of reunion. "I know, right? You look great. I heard about Emma." Claire's eyes darted over to where Emma was now engulfed in a group of smiling peers, celebrating her achievement. "She's really grown up." "Yeah, it feels surreal," Sarah replied, her throat tightening again as the weight of their current situation swirled within her. I just came back for the graduation," Claire began slowly, shifting her gaze back to Sarah. "I've missed so much." "Where have you been?" Sarah asked, curiosity choking her casual demeanor. There were so many buried feelings beneath her straightened smile, and she didn't know how to surface them. Claire bit her lip, hesitating as she glanced around. "Can we talk? Alone?" Sarah nodded, mostly out of confusion. They stepped away from the laughter and chatter, into the deeper shadows beneath the canopy of the park. The air was filled with warmth, but it suddenly felt colder, a chill running down Sarah's spine as she waited for Claire to speak. "I've thought about you a lot," Claire finally said, the sincerity in her eyes piercing through the walls Sarah had carefully built. "I'm sorry for how I left things. It wasn't fair to you." "I just wish," Sarah started, but she didn't know what she wanted to say. A part of her wanted to rage against the hurt of abandonment, while another part longed to reconnect, to understand. "I've been through a lot. My family didn't take my leaving well. I guess I thought disappearing was easier than facing things head-on." Claire's voice quivered. "What do you mean?" The question hung in the air, dense with untold stories. "I was diagnosed with something, Sarah." Claire's voice barely above a whisper. "I've been really sick too, and it's changed everything for me. I had to figure it all out. But I was too scared to reach out. The weight it placed on Sarah felt heavy, all-consuming. I don't understand. Are you okay now? What happened? I'm working on it. I'm okay today, Claire assured her, forcing the smallest hint of a smile. But there were times when I didn't know if I'd make it to this graduation. So, I guess this is when I'm trying to find my voice again. Like you with the surgery. A sudden realization washed over Sarah. The pieces fitting together in ways she hadn't expected. Claire was relating to her struggle in a way nobody else had, the desperation, the fretting over futures that felt out of reach. Maybe opening up to one another could free both of them. I want to talk through my options more, to get surgery and find a way for Emma too, Sarah said, her confidence growing as she spoke. I believe in us finding solutions together. Maybe we can help each other, Claire suggested, her eyes shining with a newfound clarity. But just as Sarah felt a flicker of hope, a shout broke through the air. Sarah! Emma needs you! A friend's voice called, filled with urgency. Hold on, Sarah said to Claire before rushing toward the chaos, heart racing with concern. What did Emma need? Was it connected to the promise that had just begun to unfold? And why did it feel as though life was pulling them into a storm once again, one they had barely started to navigate? An unseen force tugged at Sarah, urging her forward into the unknown. Would she find courage in the decisions that lay ahead or falter under the weight of the past resurfacing? As Sarah dashed toward the sound of her friend's voice, her mind swirled with anxiety. Emma was her priority. Yet the emotional pull of Claire lingered behind her, a tether she couldn't quite sever. The jubilant crowd became a blur. Faces smiled, but hers couldn't manage that lightness. Sarah! Over here! A classmate waved, urgency in her tone as she gestured towards a group gathering near the stage. Heart pounding, Sarah forced her way through the celebrating parents, the scent of fresh-cut grass and popcorn filling the air, only amplifying her panic. Her eyes scanned the crowd desperately, searching for Emma. What kind of trouble could her daughter be in now? Finally, she caught sight of a small huddle, dozens of excited voices competing for space. Emma loomed at the center, flushed and giggling, but Sarah noted the way her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Something nagged at Sarah's gut. Wasn't this supposed to be a joyful occasion? She reached the group just as her friend Jessica turned to her. She did so great, but she's feeling a little overwhelmed. Sarah crouched beside Emma, whose gaze flickered nervously between the excitement around her and her mom's worried smile. Hey sweetheart, you okay? Emma shrugged but bites her lip, a habit Sarah recognized all too well. It's just a lot, Mom. Sarah placed a gentle hand on Emma's shoulder, feeling the tension beneath her thin fabric dress. How about we take a breath together? She drew in a sharp inhale, gradually releasing it, and Emma mimicked her, a hesitant smile breaking through the storm of emotion. Okay. Sarah pulled Emma into her hug, suddenly much more aware of the gravity weighing on her own heart. Just moments ago, Claire had offered a glimpse of hope, a renewed connection that felt necessary. Yet here, watching her daughter's uncertainty, Sarah realized she was still expecting a transformation. Let us get you some water, Sarah suggested, trying to lighten the mood. We can sit over there beneath that tree. As they settled down on a bench, Emma glanced up at the sky. Why is everyone so happy? Feels like I should be, but I just can't. Her voice quivered, vulnerability breaking through her emotional barriers. Understanding washed over Sarah. The pressure of expectation weighed on her daughter, perhaps amplified by what Sarah had revealed about her own surgery. It's completely okay to not feel happy all the time. I'm feeling a mix of things too. Really? Emma looked at her, surprise mingled with the confusion in her eyes. It was a moment where honesty could bridge the gap between them. This was what Claire had wanted, a connection. Yeah, there's a lot going on, Sarah admitted, pausing. Like when I talk to Claire, even if it's complicated, it feels important to share what I've been going through. Just because you've got this amazing achievement doesn't mean you have to celebrate like everyone else. Emma nodded slowly, chewing on her lip, the burden lifting a touch. I guess I'm worried that if I'm sad, it'll ruin today. No way. You deserve to feel exactly how you feel: confusion, joy, sadness. All of it, Sarah said, placing an arm gently around her shoulders. As they talked quietly, the din of celebration still echoing around them, Sarah realized that both she and Emma were on journeys of transformation. But would sharing their struggles forge a stronger bond, or push them further apart. Just then, Sarah saw Claire from the corner of her eye, standing alone beneath the tree they had just passed. A flicker of uncertainty crossed her face as she looked between Sarah and Emma. Would Claire approach them? Would they include her in this moment, the first step on a long path to rediscovery? Sarah's pulse quickened with equal parts dread and hope. She felt both the tug of the past and the pull of a new beginning. Would they all connect? Or was the past still strong enough to keep them apart? The tension hung heavy in the air, and Sarah knew one thing for sure. Life was about to shift in ways she couldn't yet comprehend. What would Claire choose again, to step away, or to embrace this complicated reunion? As Sarah watched Claire from a distance, her heart raced. What would happen next? Claire shifted her weight, a nervous expression crossing her face. The crowd around them buzzed, oblivious to the charged moment unfolding beneath the tree. "Mom, is that Claire?" Emma suddenly ventured, her curious gaze flicking towards the tall figure. There was a glimmer of recognition mixed with apprehension in Emma's voice. "Yes, it is," Sarah replied, her heart skipping. "Do you want to say hi?" Emma's face paled slightly, and she bit her lip again. What if she doesn't want to talk to us? What if she, I don't know, doesn't like me? "Sweetheart," Sarah said softly, "you have every right to be as you are. Just be yourself." Emma nodded, squeezing her eyes shut for a moment, building her courage. "Okay, let us go." With a shared breath, they stood up and walked towards Claire. Each step felt heavy, weighted by history and the unknown. Sarah could hear her own heartbeat as if it were echoing against the quiet lull of the nearby festivities. What if this reunion changed everything? Claire caught sight of them and hesitated, her earlier confidence faltering. There was that familiar wall rising up, thick and daunting. "Hey," she said cautiously, her voice barely rising above the laughter and chatter surrounding them. "Hi, Claire," Sarah managed, unsure of how to bridge the gap that had formed over years. "It's good to see you. This is Emma, my daughter." Emma, her courage peaking, stepped forward. "Hi, I'm Emma." "Wow, you look so much like your mom," Claire said, a smile softening her features, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. It was an icebreaker, but the air between them still felt electric, charged with all the words that had been left unsaid. "Thanks," Emma replied shyly. "Did you see my performance?" "I mean, it was just a dance, but I had fun." Claire nodded, glancing at Sarah. "I didn't see it, but I heard it was amazing. Your mom was telling me how proud she was," she said, her voice tentative. The moment hung between them like a fragile web. Sarah wondered how much longer they could stay in this moment, without sinking back into the silence that had defined their relationship until now. I wanted to reach out," Sarah finally said, her voice taking a brave waver. "Things have been complicated for me. And I think they've been complicated for both of us." Claire's expression softened, shadows of regret flickering across her face. "I didn't mean for things to be this way, I just," Emma, sensing the heaviness, stepped in. "It's okay. Mom says it's okay to feel things even if they're complicated. It's really okay." Their eyes locked, and in that moment, Sarah felt something shift. Maybe Emma was right. Maybe there was an opening here. "I'm glad you're here, Sarah." "I really am," Claire said softly. "I've missed you." Tears pricked the corners of Sarah's eyes. Could this be the moment she had longed for? "I've missed you too." But as Claire took a step closer, an unexpected rush of voices interrupted the moment, participants of the gathering around them. Emma's proud laughter pulled their attention back to the scene chaos, as one of her friends dashed past in gleeful exuberance. "It's just so much," Claire said, taking a step back, her expression clouding with uncertainty again. "Can we talk later?" "Of course," Sarah replied, hiding her disappointment behind a smile. "Whenever you're ready." Emma reached back into Sarah's hand, squeezing it, and together they walked away, leaving Claire standing in that charged space. Sarah glanced back once, feeling a swirl of hope and frustration. The possibility was there, but so was the past. What would it take for Claire to truly engage, to be present with them? As they headed towards the snacks, Sarah pondered the intricacies of their relationship, heart heavy with the knowledge that this was just the beginning. Would Claire's next step be to rejoin them, or would she retreat into her old ways forever? The uncertainty loomed, thick in the air, as the sunny day around them continued to blaze on without pause. As they approached the snack table, Sarah tried to shake off the confusion clouding her mind. Emma was almost bouncing with excitement, Her innocent enthusiasm, a welcome reprieve from the heaviness of their earlier encounter. "Can I have a hot dog, Mom? With extra mustard?" Emma's eyes sparkled, pulling Sarah back into the moment. She nodded, fighting the urge to look over her shoulder at where Claire stood, lost in the crowd. "Sure, but let us grab a drink first." "We can't have you running on an empty stomach," she replied, keeping her tone light, her heart still dancing with uncertainty. As they waited in line for drinks, Sarah was acutely aware of the chatter around them, laughter bubbling up, children squealing, the smell of popcorn wafting through the air. It was a festival of joy, yet within her chest a storm brewed. "Mom?" Emma's small voice pulled her from her thoughts. "Do you think Claire will come back?" "I hope so," Sarah answered, unsure of what else to say. "But she might need some time." Emma nodded, but her face fell. "I really wanted to show her my dance. I practiced a lot for it." "I know, sweetheart," Sarah said, kneeling to meet Emma's gaze. "And you did an amazing job. Sometimes people are just complicated. But that doesn't mean they don't care." Emma studied her for a moment, the innocence in her eyes wrestling with understanding. "Is that how you feel about Claire?" "Maybe a little," Sarah admitted, sighing. "But I think we can figure things out just like you did with your dance." Suddenly, Emma's friend Mia raced over, her blonde curls bouncing like a party in motion. "Emma, come on. The game is starting." "Wait, can I get my hot dog first?" Emma replied, her tone hopeful and bubbling with eagerness. "Yes, I'll carry it for you," Mia said, already pulling her friend away. Watching them dash off, Sarah felt a pang of nostalgia. The innocence of childhood was so fleeting. She picked up their drinks, permitting herself a moment to breathe. "Sarah!" A voice sliced through the noise. It was Claire, weaving her way through the throng towards her, vulnerability etched on her face. Unease gripped Sarah as she instinctively stiffened. "Claire." Hi. I am sorry I didn't come back earlier." Claire's voice wavered, laced with the same nervousness Sarah felt. "I really do want to talk." "Of course," Sarah said, her stomach churning with a mixture of hope and fear. "I saw Emma running off with her friend," Claire continued, glancing in the direction they disappeared. "She seems happy." "She is," Sarah replied, her heart softening. "She has always been that way. But she is still figuring out what all of this means, the changes, the distance." Claire nodded, visibly processing that weight. "I think about it a lot. About us and how different things are now." A heaviness settled around them like thick fog, the sounds of the festival fading into the background. "Can we go somewhere quieter?" Claire asked, her gaze pleading. "Sure," Sarah murmured, leading the way toward a shaded picnic area slightly away from the festivities. As they settled at a table, Sarah felt a flood of emotions, the warmth of possibility and the chill of fear. "Why now, Claire?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Why decide to talk now?" "I've been thinking about it ever since I saw Emma, and it just made me realize how much I've missed both of you," Claire admitted, looking down. "But I'm scared. I don't want to hurt you again." "Then let us take it slow," Sarah replied, her heart hammering. "Let us just be honest." The tension between them felt like a thin thread, ready to snap or intertwine. Would this moment be a beginning or an end? As Claire looked up, their eyes met, heavy with the weight of their shared past and uncertain future. Just then a loud cheer erupted nearby, jolting them from this fragile moment. What will this conversation lead to? Sarah thought, dread curling in her stomach. Would they finally confront their complicated feelings, or would they spiral into the same patterns? The day was still bright, but the shadows of their shared past loomed larger than ever. Claire looked at Sarah, her expression shifting between vulnerability and determination. "I can't keep pretending everything's fine when it's not. I've hurt you and I know that. I owe you more than just silence." Sarah began, but the words caught in her throat. The air around them was thick with tension, and Sarah felt exposed, like a wound waiting to heal. "I never wanted to hurt either of you," Claire continued, "but leaving felt like the only option at the time. Now I realize running away only made things worse. I understand that now." Sarah sighed, reflecting on the years lost, the moments where Claire had been absent. "But you were gone, and Emma, she deserves more." "I know," Claire said, emotion spilling over. "And that's why I want to change things. I want to be there for her. For you." The shadows around them seemed to shift with each passing moment. The disarray of the festival felt far away as they reveled in their shared space. It was a step, maybe shaky, but a step nonetheless. Yet doubts lingered uninvited. What do you mean by be there? What does that look like? Sarah's voice was steady, but the undercurrent of fear couldn't be ignored. After everything, it's not easy to just jump back in. Claire leaned forward, earnestness flooding her features. I'll work at it. I want to attend Emma's events. Spend time with both of you. It'll be slow, I promise. But I'm ready to try. The breeze fluttered through the trees, and for a moment, Sarah considered the possibility. The warmth of the sun pushed back against the coolness of doubt lingering in her heart. Could this be a genuine offering? Or was Claire simply fumbling through her own feelings? Can I trust you? Sarah asked softly, the weight of that question heavy between them. That is the hardest question, isn't it? Claire admitted, her vulnerability palpable. Trust is earned, not given. I know I have a lot to prove, and I'm ready for that. Sarah watched as Claire grappling with her emotions became evident. There was a sincerity in her voice that couldn't be ignored. In that moment, hope flickered against the looming shadows, warming the cool space between them. Just don't make promises you can't keep, Sarah cautioned, a tremor of hope mingling with her fear. Emma is still figuring all this out, and she deserves honesty. Claire nodded, visibly wrestling with the deep understanding that simplicity often belied complexity. I will be honest. Don't expect a fairy tale. It's going to be messy, and I might trip along the way. Emma's laughter, like a bell's chime, cut through the air as she raced toward them, hot dog in hand, sauce dripping down her fingers. Look, Mom. I'm a hot dog monster, she exclaimed, throwing her hands in the air dramatically. Claire and Sarah exchanged timid smiles, breaking tension with their shared affection for the joyful spirit suddenly in their presence. Emma glanced between them, her innocent curiosity palpable. What are you two talking about? Just how much we love you, Sarah replied, her heart swelling. As Emma giggled and took a bite of her hot dog, Claire's gaze lingered on Sarah, a cautious determination settling in. The festival sounds burst back to life around them, reminding Sarah of the vibrant world they were in. But a question lingered in her mind. Would Claire truly follow through? Or would this mere moment unravel again? As they sat there surrounded by laughter and chatter, uncertainty tinged Sarah's thoughts. She felt as if the thread between them was slowly stitching together. But at what cost? Would this fragile agreement mark a turning point? Or would history repeat itself? Before Sarah could voice her thoughts, Claire spoke again, her voice steady yet hesitant. Could we set up a weekly time to talk? Just us? I want you to know I'm serious. The one question echoed inside Sarah. Could she open her heart again? The week passed in a blur, every day pulling Sarah deeper into thoughts of Claire. She replayed their conversation over and over, a loop of emotions spinning in her mind. Could she finally begin to trust again? Did she really want Claire back in her life fully? The morning air was crisp as she got Emma ready for school. Emma chattered excitedly about her latest projects, her innocence a constant reminder of both joy and responsibility. As they walked down the familiar path, Sarah's heart fluttered. She spotted Claire standing by the school's entrance, nervously shifting on her feet. Hey, you made it! Emma exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. Sarah's stomach twisted. Claire grinned, a mix of relief and nervousness washing over her. I wanted to be here for Emma's class presentation today, if that's okay. With a nod, Sarah stepped back, allowing Emma to rush forward. The little girl enveloped Claire in a tight hug, and Sarah felt a pang of something she hadn't expected, happiness mixed with lingering doubt. Mommy, come see, Emma called, pulling Claire toward the classroom door. The presentation began, and Sarah found herself in a battle of emotions. She watched as Claire interacted with Emma, encouraging, supportive, wholly present. Each laugh from Emma seemed to soothe the raw edges of Sarah's heart, reminding her of the good that still existed beneath the surface. But with each smile from Claire, memories of the past loomed. The confusion of betrayal, the emptiness left behind felt tangible. How could she separate the Claire of now from the Claire who had walked away? During a moment of quiet, Claire caught Sarah's eye, an unspoken question hanging in the air. Can we talk? It seemed to say. After the presentations, the crowd buzzed with excitement, and Claire approached Sarah cautiously. Could I take her for ice cream? Sarah hesitated, then nodded. Just be back by 6. As Claire led Emma away, A calmness settled in Sarah's chest. This could be the start of something new. Or it could end in heartache all over again. She spent the next hours trying to distract herself but found everything reminded her of Claire. The little coffee shop down the block, the flower shop where they used to stop on their way home, even Emma's laughter. Each moment echoed with memories. When the sun began to set, anxiety coiled tighter around her. What if Claire messed up again? What if Emma got hurt? Time dragged as she glanced at the clock, each tick amplifying her nerves. At 6, Claire and Emma returned, Emma's face flushed with joy and a smear of chocolate on her cheek. "Mom, we had the best time." Claire smiled down at Emma, a genuine warmth in her eyes that made Sarah feel a mix of pride and worry. "Can we do that again next week?" "Please, Mommy," Emma pleaded, her enthusiasm infectious. Sarah exchanged a look with Claire, uncertainty dancing between them. Instead of speaking, Sarah merely nodded, fighting the urge to place boundaries to protect. Perhaps this was the first small step forward? As Claire and Emma laughed together, Sarah felt a flicker of hope ignite somewhere in her chest, but fear still whispered at the edges of her thoughts. Would Claire hold true to her word this time? Suddenly, the sound of Emma's laughter transformed into the backdrop of a new worry that clenched at Sarah's heart. What if Claire's return only brought back old wounds? The festival lights twinkled in the distance, like stars beckoning them closer. Sarah's heart raced with conflicting emotions: fear of disappointment, and an aching desire for connection. "Are you okay?" Claire asked softly, pulling Sarah from her thoughts. I don't know," Sarah admitted, the truth spilling from her lips. "I want to believe in this, but I'm scared." Claire reached for her hand, her expression earnest. "I'm scared too." As the two stood hand in hand, Sarah felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. Perhaps the real question remained. Could they rewrite their story together, or were they locked in a dance of ghosts that would forever haunt them? The laughter of Emma drew them together. But the past loomed just out of reach, waiting to challenge everything they aimed to build. How could they start anew when the shadows of yesterday still whispered their secrets? The following days unfolded like a delicate dance, each moment steeped in uncertainty yet tinged with hope. Sarah found herself stepping carefully into this newfound dynamic with Claire and Emma, treading lightly as if on fragile ground. Every shared smile and hushed conversation held the potential for growth or devastation. One evening, as they sat on the porch, Claire's presence felt more comforting than daunting. They watched the sun dip behind the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Sarah caught herself stealing glances at Claire, noticing the little things: the way a breeze tousled her hair, or how her laughter lit up her entire face. There was an undeniable connection, one that Sarah had thought lost. "Emma really seems to love having you around," Sarah said, her voice barely above a whisper. Claire nodded, her gaze fixed on the fading light. "Being with her, it reminds me of what I've missed. I want to be part of both your lives again." A nervous silence hung in the air, heavy with unspoken fears. Did Sarah want that too? Her heart raced. The warmth of connection battled fiercely with the chill of past betrayals threatening to surface. Just then, Emma burst out of the house, her own laughter like music. "Mom! Mom! Look what I made!" she exclaimed, holding a crumpled piece of paper that Sarah quickly recognized as a drawing, a scribbled portrait of the three of them, vibrant and chaotic. "That's beautiful, sweetheart," Sarah praised, her heart swelling with love. She looked at Claire, who was equally enchanted. It was moments like these that made the journey worth it. "Can I hang it on the fridge?" Emma asked, bouncing on her heels. "Of course. It needs a place of honor," Sarah replied, kissing her daughter's forehead. The simple act of appreciating Emma's artwork felt monumental. As they shared family moments, laughter seemed to weave them closer together, like the colorful threads of a well-worn tapestry. Later, as the day melted into night and the stars emerged above them, Sarah sensed an opportunity. "We should celebrate your first week back. Maybe a small dinner together?" A flicker of hesitation passed over Claire's features, but it quickly turned into a smile. "I'd love that." They made plans for the weekend, and excitement bloomed in Sarah's chest. Yet, as the days passed, apprehension crept back in. What if the dinner revealed all the unresolved tension? What if the evening turned into a reminder of painful memories rather than a rebuilding of trust? The night of the dinner arrived, and the table was set with care. Sarah put her heart into it, the bright tablecloth, fresh flowers, even a dessert she'd baked. Emma bounced in her chair, eager for the evening to unfold like a magical story. When Claire arrived with a small bouquet, the atmosphere shifted palpably. "I thought these would brighten your table," she said, her eyes sparkling. And they did. But nerves tangled with excitement as they sat down. Conversation flowed easily at first, shared anecdotes, Emma's delightful stories, but tension hung in the air like a balloon about to burst. "I've missed family dinners," Claire said, her voice soft, sincere. "I forgot how special it could feel." "Me too," Sarah replied, her throat tightening. The sound of utensils clinking against plates filled the silence, but shadowy thoughts lingered. Could they genuinely move forward? Or were they simply placing a bandage over old wounds? As dessert was served, Emma spoke up, breaking through the thickening tension. "Can we go to the park tomorrow? Just like the old days?" Their eyes met, and for the briefest of moments, Sarah saw a flicker of the future reflected in Claire's gaze, a future where laughter reigned, and ghosts could finally fade. But was it too good to be true? In that heightened silence, Sarah realized the most intricate parts of families are not fixed but rather forged anew through love, patience, and willingness to embrace the uncertain. "Maybe we could make it a tradition?" Claire suggested tentatively, holding Sarah's gaze just as Sarah was about to agree. The wind outside picked up, rattling the windows. A chill ran down her spine. The thought that they could be pulled apart at any moment rushed back to her. "Let us take it one step at a time," Sarah finally said, the weight of her decision hanging forlornly in the air. Could this be the turning point they needed? Or would the remnants of pain catch up to them when they least expected it? As the night deepened, Sarah felt the promise of something hoped for, and the haunting specter of what might come next. The sun rose over Maplewood, spilling warm golden light through Sarah's kitchen window. With a cup of coffee in one hand and the morning newspaper in the other, she felt a renewed sense of hope fill her veins. Today was the day everything changed. After a long week filled with moments of honest dialogue, laughter, and tentative steps toward rebuilding, Sarah finally felt ready to take the plunge. There was a transformative air to the morning, the scent of fresh flowers Claire had brought for the dinner still lingering, serving as a reminder of their new path forward. Emma was buzzing with excitement as she rushed through her breakfast. "Mom, can we go see Claire today? I want to show her my new drawing." Sarah smiled at her daughter's enthusiasm, her heart swelling at the sight of Emma's shining eyes. "Absolutely. Let us give her a call after breakfast." After they finished, Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her decision. It was time to open her heart fully, to allow both her and Emma the kind of family they had always dreamed of, one where connection was built on trust and true presence. Later, they arrived at Claire's house, the familiar neighborhood bringing back memories of long-lost friendship. As Claire opened the door, her warmth enveloped them like a comfortable blanket. She looked cheerful in a soft sweater and a broad smile that lit up her face. "Hey, you two," Claire exclaimed, kneeling to meet Emma's eager gaze. "I can't wait to see your drawing." As they settled on the porch, Emma proudly revealed her masterpiece, a burst of colors illustrating them together in a whirlwind of joy. Claire's eyes sparkled as she looked up at Sarah, a silent promise shimmering between them. "Emma, this is incredible," Claire said, her voice full of awe. "You're such a talented artist." Emma's cheeks flushed with pride as she beamed. "You really think so?" "Absolutely. We need to hang it in the living room." Claire smiled warmly, her laughter spilling into the air like spring petals as they chatted and laughed. Sarah felt the shadows of their complicated past slowly receding, replaced by a growing sense of togetherness. They exchanged stories, hopes, and fears, creating a beautiful tapestry of connection that had once seemed so far out of reach. Sarah was stunned by how organically it all flowed. Every shared moment felt like a brick laid in the foundation of a new relationship. "Can I ask you something?" Claire's voice turned serious, glancing toward Sarah. "Of course," Sarah urged, heart fluttering nervously. "I want to be a part of your lives, no more playing it cool or avoiding the hard stuff. Can we put in a schedule? Weekly dinners, game nights, anything that keeps us together? We can even include movie nights." Claire's earnestness shone through. Sarah felt warmth wash over her, a sense of belonging rooted in a desire for connection. "I'd love that," she replied, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. "But we all have to be transparent. No more running away, just clarity and commitment." Claire sat back, smiling brightly. I promise I'm up for the challenge. As Emma chimed in with enthusiasm, Sarah watched as a wave of relief washed over Clara's face. It was as if she had been holding her breath, and now, the warmth of acceptance filled the space around them. Days turned into weeks, and what had begun as a cautious exploration evolved into a vibrant friendship, each visit growing richer with laughter and warmth. They forged new memories. Board games turned into light-hearted rivalries. Movie nights melted into shared popcorn and giggles, and each conversation unraveled pieces they never thought they would share. Claire truly began to integrate into their lives, attending school events, cheering Emma on during soccer games, and offering unsettlingly honest support in every facet. Sarah felt a sense of fulfillment deepen, a satisfaction that was once elusive, ignited by rekindling a relationship that had begun to sway toward the pitfalls of the past. One breezy evening, as they gathered on the porch, the fresh smell of grilled burgers wafting around them, Claire addressed what everyone was feeling. Can we agree that this has been an incredible transformation? Yes, and we should celebrate that. Emma squeaked, her excitement palpable. The joy in her voice echoed with an innocence that filled Sarah's heart. I think so too, Sarah stated, a smile evoking the simple happiness they had begun to build together. I propose a picnic at the park next week. Just us three sharing food and stories in the sunshine. Count me in. Claire laughed, her eyes sparkling as the sun set on the horizon. Golden rays painted the sky with colors of hope and renewal. Sarah felt a profound sense of peace, a warmth spreading through her, a feeling of family and what it could truly mean. Days later, the three of them enjoyed a sunny picnic together, laughter floating through the air like the soft ripples in a pond. They pretended to race paper boats, played frisbee, and fell into splashes of glimmering sunlight, weaving unbreakable bonds forged through resilience and love. What do you think, Mom? Are we a family again? Emma asked, a hopeful gaze brightening her face. Sarah looked at Claire and then back at Emma, her heart bursting with gratitude. We are, sweetheart. We truly are. And with that harmonious affirmation, the struggles, the pain, and the shadows of yesterday began to fade like echoes from a dream. They had learned to be true to each other, to share the weight of their lives, and ultimately, to embrace the future together, a vivid, radiant tapestry weaving joy into their new family. Just then, a firefly flickered past, lighting up the dusk like a tiny beacon of hope, illuminating their path forward. So dear friends, if you felt a spark of hope from Sarah's journey and the transformative power of family, you need to subscribe now to catch our next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the vibes growing. And don't wait not even one more second to share this adventure with at least 5 friends who need to experience this transformation. Your actions matter, and as true fans, let's keep the light shining bright together.